Thank you, Tejaswini, for taking this up at such a short notice. And Tejaswini is well known for the posh sessions that she conducts. She is also the store design head for Shoppers Stop. We met her in She Leads just last time, just a few weeks ago. So I won't take too much of time. And Tejaswini has been an active member of TRWGC too. So Tejaswini, I'm just handing over the entire room to you without any ado so that we can continue with the session that we all are here for. Thank you so much for doing it at such a short notice.
Yeah. So please allow me to share my screen. Thank you so
Yes.
much, TRWGC, for giving me this platform to talk about POSH. Uh, so, yeah, just a little bit of background. Uh,
Dipti will highlight
just
you,
let
Tejaswini. At the moment, it's only me. Sorry. Dipti, please highlight Tejaswini and let's start.
Yeah, let me know
Yes, there
when
you go.
my screen is visible. Okay,
Sure, we can.
It's
is it?
visible.
Yeah.
All good.
Okay. So okay. So while I'm also heading design at Shopper Stop, I'm an architect. I mean, I had the opportunity to work in this field of POSH, which is prevention of sexual harassment at workplace, in my organization for last almost 12 to 15 years, and last 7 to 8 years I've been heading. I'm the committee which looks after anything related to POSH at Shopper Stop. So although usual my sessions are 2 hours, I'll be doing here is like just touching base with very various different topics which come under the purview of POSH, and it is a very intense topic. And each one of you being individual entrepreneurs, working women, you could be in a different position at your organization. You could you probably take whatever that you can gain from with your lens with respect to POSH. Okay, so is everything good? Can I move? Yeah. So quickly, what I wanted you all to know is what is the provision in Indian law for POSH? What is sexual harassment? What do you mean by sexual harassment at workplace? Some definitions. What is internal complaints committee and its role? What is the process of the entire complaint reporting and redressal? And all of us need to understand our rights and responsibilities with respect to prevention of sexual harassment at workplace. Okay, first of all, why did we even have to have this law in the first place? Okay, so it all was triggered from one incident which happened in 1992 in Rajasthan. So it was there's a program which Rajasthan government ran uh, with a group of social workers to prevent child marriages, which was a very prevalent condition in Rajasthan at that point of time. So a particular social worker called Bhavri Devi, uh, she got a news that in one of the remote village, one family, or rather two families, are getting the infants married to each other, and she, along with her fellow social workers, went there. What happened was the she was brutally gang raped by the people from the families, and so there was no obviously the families belong to powerful strata of the society. So in a normal case which happened as a rape case, nothing was proved, and the people were evicted, nothing happened. But this case was taken up by National Commission of Women, and there was a lot of uproar at that point of time. And Supreme Court in 1997 came up with something called as Vishaka guidelines, which means a woman was trying to perform her duties, and a heinous crime like rape or a sexual assault was committed on her in order to stop her from performing her duties. So hence this law, that how do you, like, in order to make a workplace a safe place for all the genders, how do you provide uh, a law which is which makes or which encourages women to come into workplace? So hence very detailed guidelines were published by Supreme Court. And later, post Nirbhaya, you all know Nirbhaya case. Post Nirbhaya case happened, there was again a lot of uproar in the country, and a formal law came into being, which is called Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace. It is Prevention, Prohibition, and Redressal Act of 2013. Um, in the law, the provision is only for making the workplace safe for women. It's, as of now, it's not the law is not for men or other genders. And all the criminal activities are also covered in section 354A of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So if it is other than workplace, you can also approach police, and the same thing is applied. So what is sexual harassment? So how do you, what behavior can you consider as sexual harassment, and not a mental harassment or not bullying? So anything that is unwelcome, any conduct by someone that makes the recipient feel uncomfortable in that particular situation, and it is not consented. Okay. So you don't have the permission, you've not given the permission to the person to sort of touch you or be friendly with you. So something which is unwelcome, the act has to be sexual in nature. It has to have certain sexual undertones. And also, like, very important, the experience is very, very subjective in nature. So it doesn't matter whether the doer says that, this was not my intention, I was doing it in a only friendly manner. But if there's a negative impact on the recipient, so that will be considered, and not what intention of the doer was. Okay, so far with me? Hello?
Yes, dear.
Yeah, am I audible? Yeah, okay. So so quickly, there are five different types of sexual harassment that have been sort of listed in the law. First one is unwelcome physical contact. It's essentially subjecting. So basically, these are defining the behaviors which can be constituted as sexual harassment. So, unwelcome physical contact is subjecting any person to an unwelcome act of physical intimacy, like grabbing, brushing, touching, pinching, kissing, etc. Okay. Demand or request of sexual favors. It is making an unwelcome demand or request. It could be direct, or it could be indirectly, for sexual favors from another person. And further, making it as a condition for employment. So either threatening the person that if you don't do this to me, you could lose your promotion, or you could lose the job, or telling that person that, okay, if you do this, you will get a promotion, or vice versa. The third type is sexually colored remarks. So any uh, unwelcome remarks which have sexual connotations, or sexually explicit suggestive comments. It could also mean cracking inappropriate or double meaning jokes, or asking intrusive questions about someone's private life or body, or making sexist remarks. Okay. uh, the fourth one is showing any pornographical or sexually explicit material, either again by accident or by uh, purpose, on any on mobile or computer or email, or anything. Or it could be like in form of pictures, cartoons, pin-ups, calendars. So anything that makes the other person who's viewing it uncomfortable. uh, so this is a category considered under sexual harassment behavior. And the last one is any physical, verbal, or non-verbal conduct which is having sexual, which is like having a sexual undertone. It could be like, staring at somebody, or making offensive gestures like kissing sound, or certain expressions which are like absolutely sexual in nature. So these all can be considered as a fifth uh, verbal or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. So what does it all do to you, a person? So there are two things. One, so the motive of all of this is, one is quid pro quo, which is this, you take this and give me that. So it's basically any implied explicit promise of preferential treatment in employment in exchange of sexual favor. Okay, that is one motive. The second is implied explicit threat or of detrimental treatment in employment, if the recipient does not consent to the advances. And what does it do to the person who's receiving this kind of treatment is, intimidating a work environment, which is called hostile work environment. The person is not able to focus on the job, or she is receiving humiliating, intimidating treatment, which could lead to emotional disturbances and health and safety issues. So there are a few scenarios that I was just I had put together to explain what is unwelcome physical contact. I'm not very sure if I have time to run through these. Maybe I can run like couple of them. Um, so Okay. So this is one example of unwelcome physical contact while taking site round. Chief engineer, I mean, and all these names are just like, picked up from Bollywood, and the scenarios are imaginary. Uh, while taking site round, Chief Engineer Amir has habit of discussing issues with the site staff by placing his hand over their shoulders. But when a new site engineer Juhi joins the project, Amir does the same act with her. He's a very senior, kind of old guy, and she's a new junior engineer. But she doesn't feel comfortable with this act of the senior chief engineer, and she feels like extremely uncomfortable in front of her team. Now, this is definitely, unwelcome physical contact, and if she has every right to go ahead and complain against this behavior. So maybe in the same position, somebody else or some other woman could be comfortable with this act, but if Juhi is not comfortable, it's her choice to make, like, the impact that this behavior has had on Juhi will be considered, and her complaint will be lodged in sexual harassment. Again, demand or request for sexual favors. So now we have to consider, like, every strata that is, uh, or every role that happens to be in the organization. I'll again give you just one example here. So the administration head has a roving eye, and he likes a newly joined lady security guard, Katrina. Now he asks her to go out with him for a movie or dinner, and when she denies, she threatens to complain. What he does is, he has the power, he has the authority. He calls her agency and tells them that, please get her removed from the office duty because she is not performing her duty. Now, in the posh law, you cannot be in the power position of power and exploit a woman's condition to sort of make changes in her employment status. You can't do that. So it's considered as sexual harassment of the woman. So in this case, the lady being like, probably the lowest strata in an organization structure, equally has the right to complain against this person. Sexually colored remarks. Now, this is something that we we are quite often subjected to, and quite matlab inadvertently, like people just like, why don't you attend the meeting, maybe we'll land up the job, or maybe we'll land up the project. Like such kind of remarks, such kind of comments should be very strongly uh, should be opposed. And so I'll just again give you one small example here. A department HOD Saf calls out a young woman, Rani, um, during the meeting, and he tells her that the red color really suits her, and she looks really hot in red dress. She should wear red more often. So these random remarks targeted at Rani spark gossip in the team. So what happens, or what ends up in this kind of scenario is, there's a random comment made by a very senior person in the department, but it has ended up targeting Rani as a target of gossip by the team members, and this again makes Rani very uncomfortable. And this is sexual harassment for Rani, and she has right to complain against this behavior of the HOD. I think showing pornography is quite, quite straightforward. I'll not probably take time on this. Physical, verbal, non-verbal. Now, this is a very a tricky situation mostly. Again, so I'll give you one example from this. There are two people, like two very young people in the staff, Tiger and Disha. Tiger really likes Disha, and he has hinted Disha many times about his like, that he likes her. And Disha, however, is his friend, but she has never shown any romantic interest in him. So what happens is Tiger proposes Disha formally, and she firmly declines. Now, even after receiving her uh, decline on this, Tiger keeps on pestering her for considering his proposal. Now, both of them are working in the same department in an organization. Disha is fed up, and she finally complains against him out of frustration. So, so the whole thing is like, it's probably pure love from Tiger's end. But what is happening in a work situation is, she's not comfortable um, in his capacity, in his company any longer in the same office. So the office situation or the work situation is very awkward for her. Hence, he again has a right to complain against this situation and his behavior to the posh committee in her organization. Okay, quickly moving forward, some definitions here. What do you consider as workplace? Now, any place which is visited by an employee in the course of her or his employment, including transportation, is construed as workplace. So, again, these are some random examples that I've given considering our industry. It could be head office, regional or branch offices, warehouses. It could be like a visit to vendors factory or design studios or project sites. It could be off sites, seminars. It could be the hotel transport during your official visit, or it could also be social media, virtual meetings, your WhatsApp groups, your communication apps. Now, who is considered as an employee, or who has the right to lodge a complaint? So again, uh, any person who's employed by the organization, it could be either regular employee, temporary, ad hoc, on contract, daily wages, anyone. He or she could be employed directly or through agent. uh, it could be with or without the knowledge of principal employer. uh, it could be on voluntary basis or on remuneration. And this law also extends to probationers, trainees, interns, and apprentices. What is an internal complaints committee? Now, the law mandates all the organizations having more than 10 employees to formulate an internal complaints committee to completely redress the POSH complaints and having POSH mechanism in the organization. So there are minimum 4 members in the internal complaints committee. There's one presiding officer who's supposed to be a senior woman in the organization. Other than that, there could be 2 other members, ideally from diverse departments, or could be HR department, and there is one external member who's like impartial and fair to the entire proceedings, and that person can be from NGO working for women's causes or from legal fraternity. And you could then add more members to your committee depending on the size of your organization and how you want to set up your mechanism. The committee typically holds office for 3 years, and the committee has powers similar to a civil court, and of course within specific context of workplace, and it adheres to the principle of natural justice. Underlying principle is the committee is neutral, independent, and unbiased. This is how a complaint is addressed. If there's a complaint, this is a process that it goes through. So the complaint can come. So with anyone, if there's an incident that has happened, one has to complain within 3 months. That person is called complainant. Okay, the complaint has to come in written form to the internals complaint committee, IC, and that person needs to provide with, if the person has any witnesses or any text messages, evidence, photographs or emails or whatever, that person needs to submit them to the internal complaints committee, IC. As soon as the complaint is received, the IC has to notify. Now again, this is a very fair redressal of the complaint. So equal opportunity is given to the respondent against whom the complaint has been lodged. So the respondent is notified that there's a complaint. He's given a copy of a complaint. If the 2 people are working in the same department, there's a provision of interim relief to the complainant. If you have branches, one the respondent could be transferred to another branch, or there could be a few days leave, paid leave given to the complainant, so that the person need not face the person respondent against whom she has complained. The respondent has to give his response within 10 days. There's also, if for a minor concerns or issues, there's an option of conciliation, and it's purely by the choice of complainant. If the complainant says that all he has to do is maybe acknowledge and say sorry and I'm okay to conciliate, that is an option without any monetary benefits. If not, then there's a proper inquiry into the case. The maximum duration is 90 days. At the end of the 90 days, the IC investigates. There's a discussion which happens with the complainant, the respondent, the witnesses. Typically, we go through the CCTV footages, all the evidences, all the the statements, and the IC prepares a report at the end of the inquiry, which is submitted to the employer. Now, employer is the head of the organization, and the employer has to take action based on the recommendations in the report. Now, during the entire process, confidentiality is absolutely paramount in order to safeguard the privacy and dignity of both parties. And during the process or after the process, no form of retaliation against the victim or the witnesses is allowed by the organization, and this is considered as major misconduct. Okay, if the sexual harassment happens, a prompt remedial action will be taken. So what are the remedial actions? For the aggrieved or for the person who has complained, if this is proven right, Then it could involve restoration of lost terms if that person has maybe left the organization or lost certain employment time or benefits. It's restoration of all of that. And what are the penalties that the person who's done the act or the respondent. So punitive actions for the harasser could involve warning, community service, transfer, demotion, suspension, or termination. Termination is the maximum punishment that um the POSH committee can give to the respondent in a workplace context. Financial compensation to the aggrieved for the harm caused. So that is also one option. Now, we also receive a lot of malicious complaints, which means using the law for taking the revenge against someone. So, misuse of the POSH law is considered as equal misconduct, and it can result if it is proven that it is the complaint is false or exaggerated or incorrect. The complainant would be charged for misconduct, and the penalties equivalent to the harasser would be applicable to the person who is complained here. Now, certain examples, like one should not get mixed up about certain other actions that probably the bosses take, such as following up for work absences, demanding performance to job standards, reprimands in relation to work or meeting targets or deadlines, work related stress like meeting deadlines or quality standards, constructive feedback given about your work, or sometimes touching brushing against without any sexual connotation. So these are not workplace sexual harassment, and nobody should get the two things mixed up. Now, this again is a very big thing: consensual relationships. Consensual relationships are not harassment if they are welcomed by the people involved. Okay. However, if the behavior becomes unwelcome, such behavior is considered as creating a hostile environment. If there are consensual relationships within the organization, okay, uh, they lead to a little complications. So what happens is, when the consensual relationship ceases to exist, the conduct which was once considered welcome can become unwelcome. Okay. So if the person comes up across and says, okay, well, this, I was in a consensual relationship, but we've broken up, and now he is like pestering me to go out with him, that person can come and complain to the POSH committee, and the complaint will be taken up. Because if the consensual relationship ceases to exist, nobody else can force you to sort of drag the relationship, just because you're in a same work environment, or you are in a boss subordinate roles. Now, many of you are the heads of your, like your entrepreneurs, are your heads of your own organizations. So from your lens, what is the role of an employer? The person having highest authority in the organization is the employer. Typically it is MD, CEO, or in like very large organizations, this role is given to CHRO. So it's your duty to foster safe and working environment and culture of respect and dignity for all. Constitute internal complaints committee for very effective implementation of POSH. Facilitate the committee to perform its duty under the act, as in help them gain CCTV footages, or statements or evidences. Then awareness programs, need to conduct awareness programs. You need to have yearly calendars for trainings and programs for all the employees, either on direct payroll or contract. So by law, we are supposed to display information on the consequences of sexual harassment as well as the details of ICC committee in very strategic locations across the organization, and very promptly act on the penalties or recommendations of the ICCs given in any case report. So, as a regular employee or working person, what do you do to stop or to deter sexual harassment? If ever it is happening, please don't pretend it didn't happen. Do not ignore it. Okay? Inform the harasser that the behavior is unwelcome very clearly. Report the incident if you sort of uh, happen to sort of witness it or it happens with you. Please inform the ICC exactly what happened as soon as possible. Focus on the incident, okay? Do not focus on the generic behavior of the person. Do not accept the behavior. Do not tolerate the harassment, even if it seems that the others around you are tolerating it. If someone wants to, so the first person we've noticed that the first person, if certain thing happens, the person does it is talk it out with the closest person that he or she has in within the organization. It could be friend, it could be the manager. So if someone wishes to talk to you about their personal experiences, please listen with empathy and direct them to ICC, because ICC, the Internal Complaints Committee, is trained to handle their situation and the matter. You are not. So please don't try to give them your suggestions. Listen to them, and guide them to the ICC. And please, please, please speak up if you witness. If you have witnessed harassment incident happening to your colleague, please report it to ICC. Okay, that's it from me. Let me know if anyone has. I've really rushed through this program. Let me know if anyone has uh, any
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, Tejaswini, I see one question by Amita. It says, is there something like a whistleblower
So she
policy?
answered
Has
that if you find
Okay.
your colleague getting, you can do that. Okay, so she
Yeah.
answered that question.
Okay. So again, but then, the colleague also has to, yeah, Tejaswini. So is there some kind of a format or whatever that a colleague can report for another colleague? Is there something else like that?
No. So what happens is you can report something happening in my department or some colleague, and the ICC will look into that matter. And if they really, happen to come across that, okay, this is a real situation, they can coerce the person who's going through to properly complain. But without a written complaint, the proceedings cannot happen.
Ah, okay, got it.
So Tejaswini, just one question from me again over here. Yeah, now this all has come from women in background, but nowadays what has happened is that there are many women leaders also, and bullying it happens with men too.
Yes.
So
So what happens is
right
in
now
Shoppers Stop,
yeah.
in
Huh.
Shoppers Stop, we have people from all the genders, like men, women, and also the other genders, in a large numbers as employees. So we have adopted this entire POSH law into a POSH policy, which is gender neutral. So
Okay.
although so there's also something called as filing the list of complaints. So for the law, we report only the cases which are for the women, but as a POSH committee, we take up cases for all genders. Like men complain, other the third gender they complain, women complain, men too, men against men, women against women. All the complaints are taken and treated as in the same manner, the same procedure.
Hmm.
But to the
Okay. So it
government,
is
we
not
present only those cases which involve women as
women.
complainants.
Yeah. So you try to solve this internally, basically, with the ICC in
Sure.
place.
Yeah, so we have a formal policy in place, which is gender neutral policy,
Okay.
gender
Okay.
neutral POSH policy.
Interesting.
Tejaswini,
So
I
now,
have one
yeah.
question. So Tejaswini, just like being a consultant, we visit many times the client's office and places, right?
Yes.
Maybe on the site or on the office for the discussion and all that things. And if something happens there, then how we can take this forward?
You can complain to like you can figure out who the ICC is, or and you can approach them of that organization, and you can definitely lodge a complaint.
Okay.
So in, like, for example, in my case, any vendor partner who comes for meeting in my organization has a right to complain. Any customer who comes to my store, if she or he goes through something during trial or during makeup or anything, they can complain, and all the complaints are taken up with equal importance.
Okay. Thank you, Tejasvi.
I
Anybody
guess there
else?
is
Any
one
other
more,
question?
or rather, it's not a question, it is a statement, that yes, the rules are so supportive to women, still so much hesitation from many women in general.
Yes, it happens. It happens. So it's been like, generations of suppression. So it's going to take time, but hence all of us really need to work on lifting each other and all of the women employees across country that we see, and we really need to help them.
Anybody has any other questions? If no, then we'll wind up for the day. Thank you so much, Tejaswini, for this absolutely informative session. When we were talking about Posh, we were thinking whether to have it or not. Many might know about it, but looks like, there were still many who learned something new today. Like, I really liked Shopper Stop's idea of making it a gender neutral thing, because it is not just women. There are others as well who can face the same problem, and each one should feel that yes, there is a place they can go to
Safe.
and voice themselves. So I think that was fabulous.
Even
So
in our
thank you so much.
organization, we have done that. It is gender neutral. Our policy, we have created Posh policy, which is gender neutral.
Excellent. So,
Okay.
thank you so much for this session as well. And I'm sure many of us will feel, we know that we are protected and we can even definitely talk out and at least, give a taddy to that other person, if not anything, if
Yeah,
you do
sure.
want to take it ahead as well. So, thank you so
So,
much for the
yeah,
session. And
anyone
ladies,
has any question, you can get
yeah,
in touch with me directly.
yes. If you all want to DM her also, she's there on the group. You can get her number. You can message her also. If you think you can't raise it out here, please do that. And like I said, thank you so much. Have a wonderful month ahead and a wonderful weekend too, and enjoy yourself.
Thank
See
you.
you all again next month for the network session. Thank you. Bye
And
bye.
spread the word about Real Women Awards. We need more and more nominations. We want to reach out to women in construction. So
Yes.
please, those who are awardees, you are ambassadors now. Please try to nominate more women.
And Sheetal, we have also redefined the awards, right? So
Yes.
we have.
Yeah, we have 12 different award categories now. So everything you will get in a brochure. So Dipti will be posting that. And so you all are welcome to nominate yourself. And we also want all of you to register for our different initiatives also, like She Inspires, She Builds, and all those things. I think Parul is waiting for your entries for She Inspired. So please share your story with her. She would like to, spotlight you.
Yes. Vasundhara, maybe you can reach out to Parul.
Yeah,
You just
sure.
message.
I'll do that, Raji.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Wonderful session.
Thank you,
This is the
everyone.
first session in Zoom with TRWGC. Thank you, Tejaswini, for putting out all the details so bold with clarity. Thank you, Sheetal, for reminding us this is our responsibility as well. And it's a new thing I learned about the neutral laws and everything. It was quite interesting. Thank you, Sheetal, and thank you,
Thank you so much,
TRWGC team.
Thanks for coming in. Please keep
everyone.